In the wrestling world, the people are represented by two separate but unequally important groups. The wrestlers and bookers, who literally do all the hard work, and the fans, who endlessly nitpick and overanalyze everything they do. These are their stories. Welcome to Raw and Order, the wrestling booking unit, the only wrestling podcast on the planet with a Ring doorbell on its fake door. I am your host, Detective Mark Smarks, and I am joined, usually at this point, by District Attorney Vincent Cafe, but he is not here today, so I am joined exclusively only by JLB from up north, RCMP JLB. What's going on, man? How are you?
It goes on, good sir. It goes on. I mean, if you gotta have an exclusive co-host, I mean, you can't get any more exclusive than this. I mean, so good choice, but no, man. But I'm doing good. just watched NXT, and yeah, I was thoroughly entertained. So I'm excited to get through this.
Some talking about that there NXT tonight.
I would imagine so. Yep.
I mean, that's what it says on my screen there, isn't it?
I know. So we might as well follow what that says, because if we just randomly start talking politics, that would be weird.
Yeah. Although if there was a time for us to talk politics, it'd be when DA Fabe is not here. That's for certain.
It's valid. Yep.
So, yeah, NXT Takeover in Your House 2021 just got over not too long ago. And this is our discussion. This is our review of it. To remind people how we do our reviews, we don't do them the typical way where we just talk about each match and move on from there, because that's boring and you can go 1,000 other places and get that. What we do is we go through worsts and bests, right? We're going to start off with the worsts, and then we're going to work our way to the bests of the night. I think that's a little bit more informative, right? What that does mean is there very well might be a chance sometime that we review a pay-per-view and don't actually talk about one of the matches. I think we're going to get into every one of the matches at this one, but sometime there might be a match that isn't one of the worst, but is also not one of the best and just never gets mentioned. So
that's it. It's just in between.
Yeah, before we get into all of that, though, I would like to remind everyone to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you use. You can click that little follow button, that like button, whatever it is, to make sure you're notified whenever we upload the new episodes. We are also live streaming all of the recordings on both YouTube and Facebook. So if you follow us on either one of those, YouTube or Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, you'll get notified when we go live. We go live every Sunday night at 10:30 Central and every Tuesday night at the same time. So if you don't want to wait for the audio version to come out, usually the next day, pop into the live stream and let us know what you think there. You can interact directly with us there. I also like to let people know that we are part of the Tatnus Co. podcast network. So if you like what we do, head on over to tatnusco.com, check out the other shows on the network there, and then come back here and we'll continue to entertain you, is at least the hope.
Yep.
So we will go ahead and get into talking about this here pay-per-view. Pay-per-view is not the exact best word for it, because it's a takeover. It wasn't actually on pay-per-view. It was on the network, or for us, Peacock. Interesting thing, I did find out that there is a significant delay between what airs on the network in Canada and what airs on Peacock streaming in the United States.
I mean, I was saying OMG moments and oh my God, that's crazy. And you're like, what do you mean? What happened? And you're like, oh, that's what you were referring to. All right. Yep. Again, I was watching it on TV though. So you Peacock, I imagine it's only obviously the online and it's the actual app. So that could potentially be something.
You Canadians get spoiled by. You actually have a channel that's the WWE channel. We don't have that. Our pay-per-views are either pay money for them or pay for the network, or in the case of the United States now, Peacock, to get them.
I mean, same crap. Yes, we get the channel, but I mean, essentially, with the on-demand stuff, we have to go onto the WWE network and go find that. But I mean, I see what you're meaning. It's a nice little thing. That's one of the cool thing about that's what you have to do in Canada. You can't just be the app. You have to be part of the company that selling the on Rogers or something like that. Can't just be, hey, here's an app, have fun. So I don't know how Netflix gets away with that, but they do. Crave would be the same deal.
Probably it probably has to do with live events, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, okay.
Because the WWE has live events, not just streaming old content.
Right.
They probably are like, Netflix, you can get away with it because none of your events are live, but WWE, because your events are live, you have to have a network channel. So who knows?
That makes sense. Netflix has never done anything live, so yeah, I guess that would make sense.
But we are going to go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of this here dinner, and we're going to talk about meat and potatoes. I'm a Nebraska boy. Irish heritage. Meat and potatoes are that's my jam, yo. But also, apparently, I look like I'm running an iMac commercial with the dead iMac in my back corner. I just noticed.
Well, I mean, they might as well get you since Justin Long is now doing the PC Intel commercials. So he switched sides. Why can't you?
Dollar bills, y'all. I never switch sides. I just have a dead iMac back there because my brother gave it to me to see if I can revive it. Anyways,
there we go.
will get into the meat and potatoes of this sandwich, and we are going to talk about the worst match of the night. And I'm going to go ahead and let JLB start off and tell me what he thought the worst match of the night was.
Okay, so maybe it's just because I went to the bathroom and then I came back and it was over, but it would have to be the it was right after the MSK match. Let me just get the name here. The Xia Li match. I don't even know if that was technically a match. I felt like that didn't last long at all. And there was not even a winner, so I'm like, was this part of a match? What was going on here?
It was a full match. It lasted a little bit. I'm gonna see if Cage Match has been updated yet.
Jesus,
have the
Okay, but you're saying it was at least 10 minutes, sort of deal.
Yeah. I don't know if 10 minutes, but it was at least a few minutes longer. I mean, but the big thing is it was a match. I'm just gonna try to figure out because I think there actually was a finish to it, but
well, no, but there was the referee didn't count out. She went to go see that demon person. I forgot what her name is.
That was after the match.
Oh, okay. So I just completely missed the match. Okay, duly noted. Really noted.
But it was. Let me see if I just want to see if.
Oh, it was fairly quick. It was at least like 5 minutes. And I guess whatever. I don't watch NXT religiously every week, so perhaps I just didn't care because I don't really watch these. I didn't really pay attention to their storyline, and I was like, okay, whatever. Like I didn't know what was going on, so perhaps I just tuned out and went to go do other things. But I guess that's not fair since I really didn't take advantage of watching that match. But honestly, I thoroughly enjoyed the opener. The opener was spot on. So I don't know. I guess I'm curious to see what you would have thought would have been the worst match, rather.
Well, after doing all of this, talking about how it was a match and everything, I'm going to point out that was my choice for worst match of the night too.
So I didn't miss much. Perfect. Okay.
It was a shorter match.
Are we not putting the card, by the way, down below?
Yeah. And you remind me as I go to here. Gotta scroll around a bit because
it's coming. Hey!
Worst match of the night. NXT TakeOver Xia Li versus Mercedes Martinez. And the sad thing is, I really wanted to give this at least a little bit of credit because they worked in a storyline from 4 years ago
Oh, okay.
that that was 100% not something they planned, right?
All right.
Um, because they at the Mae Young Classic 4 years ago,
Wow.
Mercedes
Okay.
Martinez, who was not signed to WWE, she was working as a free agent at the time, um, faced off against Xia Li, who at the time was a um like a nobody in NXT, was barely known, right?
Okay.
And they
She had recently
had
just started too, as well. Anyways, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's the deal. She was pretty new. Uh and they had a there we go. Found the event here. So they had a match and Mercedes Martinez won. And storyline wise, they worked in that Xia Li has never been able to get over that humiliating defeat. Now,
Mm.
again, I point out that this is them 100% just kind of stumbling into this storyline
All right.
because Mercedes Martinez wasn't signed to the company. They had her win because at the time she was the better wrestler. She was more polished. I mean, she's a veteran. She's been doing it for a long time. Uh, so they're like, let's have her win. Xia Li was fairly early in her development. So they're like, hey, let's have Mercedes Martinez win. Mercedes Martinez didn't go on to win the Mae Young Classic.
Right.
So it was kind of a throwaway match in the grand scheme of things, but you had the better wrestler win, right? Made a whole lot of sense. And then they turned it into a storyline with this, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. They're showing some thought process here and saying, hey, let's take this that we stumbled into 4 years ago storyline and turn it into something we can talk about now. But in the end, it was 7 minutes and 40 seconds long. Xia
Wow.
Li technically
Okay.
won.
Mm.
And then afterwards, Boa, the guy who's part of the, I can't even remember what the name of the group is, the Xia Li group, right? Tried to pass Xia Li a chair to hit Mercedes Martinez with. Mercedes ducks the chair, grabs it, hits Boa with the chair, hits Xia Li with the chair, beats him up a bit, and then goes out to confront Mei Ying is the name of the
The
woman.
demon or whatever the hell that is.
Demon-ish woman. I don't even know what to do, but
Although, I mean, kudos to them. I mean, that was kind of a more convincing demon than, Alexa Bliss. I found that a little bit more. She had a little bit more strength. She was really strong, kind of thing. And she threw her. The fire kind of made sense too. It wasn't overly like, oh my god. So kudos to them for making a demon character that's halfway decent. I mean, in today's standards, I guess, with what Raw is doing.
yeah,
So
I told you we're probably going to have some disagreements here. I am not a fan of that. But we'll
I
get to
haven't
that
seen her
part.
anywhere else though. So
We'll get to
I
that
don't know how
a
else bad
little
it
bit
was.
later in some of the things. But yeah, 7 minutes and 40 seconds long was that match. It was the shortest match of the night. So your bathroom break was at least 7
Jesus.
minutes and 40 seconds long.
I don't know what to tell you. Just that phone in the bathroom really hinders your time.
We're struggling with the zipper. Is that what it was?
Just couldn't get it out. Couldn't pull it down. It was worst time ever.
So we agree though that unfortunately, because here's the, I liked Xia Li. In fact, I liked her a lot before this whole dark turn. I'm liking her less in this character now, and I like Mercedes Martinez. I was actually angry when she chose NXT over AEW because AEW was pursuing her. AEW had brought her in for some AEW darks, and stuff, and then she chose NXT. And like, I get it. If you grew up as a wrestling fan in America, in North America even, and you get a chance to go to a WWE, you probably take it, right? I get it. But I still can you imagine how much improved the AEW roster had been if they'd have gotten Mercedes Martinez a year ago? You know.
I mean, I don't know. They have a lot of talented wrestlers, and only now we're kind of seeing them do stuff with them. So
My point is, if they'd have brought in a talented veteran a year ago to kind of lead the division, because that's where the biggest problem is, right? They've got a really talented roster at AEW Women's, but they don't have any veterans.
what do you mean? You had that Japanese chick who's been wrestling since she was 9. They constantly always mention her.
Oh,
You had
Riho, who was stuck in Japan for the last
right.
year.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
bring up the next option. I'll knock it down.
It was another Japan one.
Also stuck in Japan. Yep.
Yep.
Let's go to some of the other ones. Bea Priestley. Oh yeah. Guess where she was stuck? In fucking Japan.
That's fair. All right, fair statement. Fair statement.
So they spent this last year with mostly green wrestlers, and this isn't trying to knock them. I love Hikaru Shida. I love Britt Baker. Britt Baker is probably one of the most improved women's wrestlers.
Oh, you mean Miss DMD?
DMD. I'm still kind of angry that her. This is a total offshoot here. That Britt Baker's ring entrance theme does not just start with DMD.
I think they're getting there. I think she's trying to make sure the fans really know her catchphrase, which obviously
because
it's not hard.
She does it in the middle of the entrance. It doesn't actually say it in the theme, but as she comes in, she stands there and then she goes DMD, and she does it. But my point is, and this might be just the old school side of me, the old man yells at clouds part of me. But one of the things that was, in my opinion, the key to all entrance themes in the 90s for both WWE and WCW, right? What made them good was that the people who created them, whether it was Jack Johnson or Jimmy Hart or whoever else, knew how important it was for the first 5 seconds of the song to identify who it is, right?
Oh, you didn't know?
Oh, you didn't know? That was supposed to be a glass shattering. I can't do that.
Jesus,
I'm not a sound effect guy,
the
right?
fuck was that? That was
dong.
wind on crack.
Yeah. Dong.
Do you smell what the Rock is cooking?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh.
I mean, you can go down the line for almost every one of the major wrestling themes from the 90s and early 2000s, and they all, for the one, started off with something within the first 5 seconds that identified who that wrestler was. Right.
Oh.
Well, it's the big show.
Yeah.
Right there. And that gets you that pop. Now, there are a few in AEW that get it. I think Hangman Page's theme starts off with the horse, and it's really recognizable. Darby Allin starts off really recognizable. There are a few of them that do really good. I'm big fan of Best Friend. You instantly know who it is. But Britt Baker's, like, her music starts to play, and I look at my screen for a bit, and then she walks out, and then I'm like, oh, it's Britt Baker. And it just doesn't have that recognizability. And the problem is they've done that to a lot of them. Cody's used to start off with, right off the bat, there's more than one wrestling family, first family of wrestling or whatever it is. And then now they moved that. The Young Bucks used to start off with Super Kick Party.
Right.
and now it doesn't, and they moved away from it. And I just think that's something.
Well, they're
that
heels though.
yeah, that's heels, but it's still they can have something right off the bat,
Mm-hmm.
And WWE has still maintained a fairly good job of doing that. Think Randy Orton's "I hear voices." You as soon as you
It's
hear
so
that,
old
you know
though.
it's him. It's old, but as soon as you hear that, you know it's him.
Right.
And so, anyways, DMD should be the very first one, but we're not talking about AEW. We're talking about the
Nope.
worst match of the night for NXT, and it unfortunately was Mercedes Martinez versus Xia Li.
I didn't miss much. Get it on it. Does this mean the feud's over? I guess not.
Probably, I mean, I would assume now the feud's going to be Mercedes Martinez versus Mei Ling.
Mm.
Mei Ying, excuse me.
Mei Ying. One job.
But that would be my guess. I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting if we finally see Mei Ying in the ring, because for the last like 6
Okay, so
months,
we actually haven't. Okay.
no, for the last like 6
Okay.
months, she's just sat in that chair and kind of ordered around Xia Li and Boa.
King of the castle. King of the castle. Yeah, fair enough.
So that is worst match of the night. Now we get to move on to most predictable moment.
Ooh.
So, go ahead.
Okay. So I guess most predictable moment is they really pulled the WWE when they had Karrion Kross out of the matchup for quite some time because of the whole table sitch. And you had all the wrestlers doing just these crazy things in the ring, from like the reverse hurricanranas to like the kick, and then the other guy flips them backwards, to like a bunch of crazy stuff. And then of course you just have Karrion Kross come in and freaking then dominate, although creative ending with the submission kind of thing. That was kind of submission on submission. Cool story. But very WWE-esque, where the guy's out for quite some time and hey, he's going to come back in and win. So as soon as they did that, I immediately had thought, great guys, good job. Now I know what's going to happen. And Karrion Kross wins again.
The tough thing with this match in general, I'm going to go ahead and put it up here for
context.
For context. The tough thing with this particular match is that when you have that many contestants in it, to give everyone a chance to shine, you kind of have to at some point eliminate one or two of them so the other ones can show. Yeah, otherwise it's just a big 5-way clusterfuck the entire time. So,
and well, but they did do that, and I understand that at the beginning it was 1-on-1, and then 3 other people were out of the ring, or 3 other people were out of the ring. But then you had everyone else in the ring, and Karrion Kross wasn't there because he got slammed on the table. And
there's a storyline reason for it. Remember, they have to sell this whole concept of Karrion Kross can lose his belt without being a part of the finish. So if he's not at some point incapacitated outside, they can't sell this whole Karrion Kross could lose. All Johnny Gargano has to do is pin Pete Dunne and he's the new champion. That's the story. They pitched it the entire time going into it. So
that didn't come to my head, though. I wasn't thinking, oh, okay, so now they got to pitch us. Look, we know it. It's a fatal 5-way. Winner wins, and that's it. But I'm sorry, you have him out for so freaking long. Mm-hmm. It's not, oh my God, is someone else going to win? No, I didn't even think that for a minute.
There were a few times I sincerely thought that either Kyle O'Reilly or, to be perfectly honest, Johnny Gargano. I thought Johnny Gargano was going to pick up a victory here and become the champion again. And
there was some crazy cool spots, but I immediately just always was in my head, no, Kross is not part of it at all. I get it. He doesn't have to be, but no, like he's gone for too long. He's going to come in and be random and win. And that's what happened.
So I am not going to directly argue with you on that one. I don't think that was the most predictable moment of the night for me.
Fair.
For me, most predictable moment of the night actually came during the Money in the Bank, not Money in the Bank, the $1 million belt ladder match. And here's the thing. I'm living on kind of a technicality for this, right? Most predictable moment of the night was what is affectionately referred to amongst former theater nerds like me as Chekhov's ladder. In this match, there was one point about midway through it that LA Knight made a very big deal about setting up a ladder out of the ring onto the ramp into another ladder, right? And then they didn't use it. So, to explain a little bit about the reference, though, Chekhov's ladder is a play on the phrase Chekhov's gun. Chekhov is a playwright, and that's why I say, amongst theater nerds like me, I was a theater major in college. Chekhov had a rule, not a rule per se, but a theory. He said, if they show you a gun in Act 1 of a play, expect it to be fired in Act 3. And that's what this is they showed us him setting up that ladder in Act 1 of this match. I knew it was not going to come to play in Act 1. Instead, it was going to be Act 3, where suddenly that ladder took place. And that's why it was most predictable for me, is as soon as they set it up, I was like, yep.
I mean, out of the whole pay-per-view, though, that's your...
That was the moment. Here's the deal. I'm saying that was, to me, exactly what Karrion Kross getting knocked out on the thing was to you. As soon as they set that up and didn't immediately use it, I was like, that is going to be the major spot at the end of the match.
Okay. That's fair.
Was it the major spot at the end of the match?
Yes,
the
yes,
answer
sir, it was.
is yes, it was. So, as soon as they set that up, I knew
I want that
gold
one.
Yeah. I knew that was going to be the finish of the match, was going to be someone, and if I would have been guessing at the time, I would have guessed Cameron Grimes.
Should have been Grimes. I don't even get why they gave it to Knight. Like, Knight has the look and all that, but Grimes is just so freaking entertaining, man.
Yeah, LA Knight,
the problem is he has the look, so a lot of people go to him and whatever because he has the look of a wrestler, look of a Hollywood star.
LA Knight is on my list for one of the other awards of the night. I have this theory that LA Knight is what you get when you raise a person watching The Rock, and they think that that's what makes a superstar, is just the promo skills.
Right.
Because, like you say, I mean, LA Knight looks like a wrestler, right? Mm-hmm. He's got the build and all that stuff. If you watch him deliver his promos, he talks like he's trying to be The Rock. He refers to himself in third person. He says, LA Knight doesn't do anything. Whoa. His entire, facade is like White The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he lives up to it in the ring. And I didn't think he did it in Impact when he was Eli Drake.
Right.
He just doesn't do anything. So that's why that's my most predictable moment of the night, is it setting up there. But I agree with you. Cameron Grimes should have been the winner.
So I don't know why they didn't. Like, LA Knight is not going to need it. I guess Grimes doesn't need it either, I guess, but
unless there's a continuing of this storyline that's a redemption, Cameron Grimes coming back to win, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know what else happens here. So.
Well, if that's the case, I'm down. Because if Cameron Grimes ultimately gets it, cool story, I'm in. But you can't just throw away his $1 million money thing. Like, I feel like he has to get the ultimate redemption. So if they don't do that, they're stupid. Because I'm sure the fans I don't really notice, but I'm sure the fans love Cameron Grimes. I just don't remember. But yeah, they said LA Knight sucks. So I just don't know if that was just because everyone hates LA Knight or
I think
everyone loves Cameron Grimes.
I think your confusion on this dates directly to a conversation we had recently on the podcast about how it's really tough to know who actually is over when there's not fans there on the regular. Like, there were fans there tonight, but not a lot. I mean, just that kind of first row sort of a thing there. And that's about it. And it's really hard to know, is this wrestler over, or
are they just excited over? Yeah, or are they just really excited to be there? And because they did both, right? LA sucks, Cameron Grimes,
but there were a lot of times that you could tell that the chant was piped in. Like, there was one part you heard, "This is awesome." But if you looked, you could see the crowd was not hitting on the beats of... They weren't in that, so... But... So I'm actually going to go ahead and leave my graphic up there and move from most predictable moment of the night to botch of the night. Because it's a good segue here for me to talk about. Botch of the night for this was not directly on either of these wrestlers directly, more on the camera crew for sitting there and lingering on them when they were on the ground outside as LA Knight blatantly just was talking to Cameron Grimes about what to do next. Right.
He was like looking up at him and they're like having conversation. I'm like, bro, if you're going to talk to him though, just have your face down or something too. Though, like, I think that's on him.
No, it's entirely on the camera crew because switch to a different angle at that point. Right. Because here's the, from a real world perspective, we know that these wrestlers are talking to each other all through the match. Right. But seeing it so blatantly there is tough. Now, there wasn't like LA Knight could have put his head down, but you still would have seen him talking. And this is why, in a situation like that, you try to make sure you're in a position where you cannot see the face of the wrestler with the camera. And I mean, normally if we're bitching about something with camera work on WWE, it should
have got Bruce Pritchard there or Kevin Dunn. Kevin Dunn would have been perfect in this situation. He would have switched up the cameras. But this would have been a place
that Kevin Dunn could have improved it. Yes.
Yep. Really?
So.
Was that a wrestling cup? Is that what that was?
What?
Was that a wrestling cup?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It was from SmackDown. And almost none of these wrestlers are still on SmackDown.
One job.
Look, there's Smojo, not on SmackDown. And Asuka, not on SmackDown. And Becky Lynch, not on SmackDown. And Randy Orton, not on SmackDown. And there's Rusev, not even in WWE anymore. Shinsuke's still on SmackDown.
Oh, there we go. Let's got one.
So there's one. Nope, Miz, not on SmackDown.
Kofi not on SmackDown.
Not on SmackDown. Kofi not on SmackDown. Big E still on SmackDown.
Oh, there we go.
Two.
That's two.
Right?
That's two.
No. Xavier's not on SmackDown. Charlotte's not on SmackDown. Jeff Hardy.
Nope.
I don't even know where
he's on Raw.
Technically is.
He's on Raw. He
was on Raw this week, so I guess Raw, but I don't know. He was on Main Event the past 3 weeks, so
that's fair.
Daniel Bryan not with the company anymore, but who knows what's happening. Naomi's on Raw, so yeah. But and there we were off on a tangent. But let's go ahead and get to you. What in your mind was the botch of the night?
Damn. So I was trying to think as the pay-per-view ended, because I didn't really notice one technically. Maybe I don't even know if I guess it would technically be maybe the same match. Is the wait, was it the same match or was it? No, I think it was actually the the three-way match there with the first match, MSK and Bronson Reed versus El Phantasmos and his boys.
Okay.
Basically, I just kind of, well, whatever, mistakes happen or whatever have you. But for doing that whole thing outside where he grabs the title when he's like looking at it, and then Bronson Reed kind of catapults him into the barricade. But the problem is, half of the barricade stood back up. So I don't know if just that one side was supposed to break or both sides were supposed to break. But I don't even. It's kind of really being nitpicky, to be honest with you, in terms of a botch. But it was kind of really weird, and for me, at least, it kind of took away from that moment because you just see the thing flop back up, and it's like, ooh, ooh, you know. But whatever, nothing crazy, I guess. I just couldn't really find another botch aside from that. That's one I really noticed, and I was like, okay, that kind of like, was that supposed to go down? Was it not? Did he just really hit it that hard and he actually legit maneuvered that part too? And it just got me questioning all kinds of things, how that just went up like that, like crazy, like randomly, like whoop.
Well, I'm going to slightly defend this really quickly. I'm not taking it away from you though, but I'm going to slightly defend it. I think what you were seeing popping up was actually the fence that actually hangs from above, the way they put it on there. So when they went through, it moved out of the road and then it flopped back because it's hanging instead of mounted on the ground.
Okay.
It's still, I will consider it still a botch, however, because um it was still so blatantly planned, right?
Right.
Because that happened to be the one area that they didn't have a bunch of fans behind there that could have
That's it.
gotten hit by this. So the one place where he just happened to be standing there. So I get it there, but
But yeah, I mean, aside from that, I didn't really notice too many botches per se. So
yeah, it was a pretty clean night all in all, and so that's like that's why I went with what I went with, because it wasn't a botch per se, but it was something that really took away from the night, is watching LA Knight just talk to.
yeah, that was definitely up there too, because that was stupid. I'm like, really, guys? Like, one job.
But what did you guys think? If you guys have a concept for what was the most predictable moment, what was the botch of the night, what was the match of the night, what any of that stuff, let us know in the comments, or comment on this when you watch it on replay, or let us know at our Twitter at Raw and Order WBU or at JLB420. Let us know what you thought was the best and the worst of this night. We'd love to hear from you all there.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to go ahead and move on from botch of the night to overhype of the night. This is the category that's about what did they hype up, talk about a lot, say this is the big thing, this is going to be what's going on, and you just kind of thought, ugh, not worth it. You can't get behind. So,
Well, probably would have to be Karen Cross winning that matchup, because it made me really think that someone else was taking it, whether it would have been a Pete Dunne win, or another Adam Cole reign, or even Kyle O'Reilly. It just, I get they were still trying to maybe build, I don't know, but I felt to me like, oh, okay, you're kind of really making this, because he was only supposed to face who originally? He was only supposed to face.
Well, they
Or
never
not
scheduled a match
originally.
for it. They had, okay, so the way that they got to this particular match, they had a triple threat match on an NXT show
Right.
3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And it was Kyle O'Reilly versus Pete Dunne versus Johnny Gargano. Winner became the number one contender and would face Karrion Kross at In Your House. There's 2 weeks ago. And then midway through it, not midway through it, right at the end, Adam Cole Bay shows up and takes all of them out with a chair, just beats the
Right.
tar out of all of them, and there's no official winner. Then he proceeds to come back later in the night and challenge Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross responds with, "Give me all of them,"
Right.
basically saying, "I don't care who won. I don't care who would have won that. I want all of them." So there never was a point that it was supposed to be one specific person.
Mm-hmm.
However, it could have been any one of those people. So
That's it. So I guess maybe they were building him up anyways when he said that, give me all of them, make him look strong. But I don't know. Then why have Adam Cole kind of come back too? I don't know if I wanted to see another Adam Cole run. I mean, I love the guy and everything, but like, I think I'm done. Like, you've had the title for so long. But I really thought they were maybe going to try to do something with Kyle O'Reilly. So maybe that was just me wanting more for Kyle O'Reilly, perhaps. But I just don't see them doing anything with Karrion Kross. I don't know. I really made Karrion Kross. I think aside from his entrance theme and his look, a guy's not that great. So,
and I'm going to disagree with you on that 100%, but that's me. I'm a big Karrion Kross. I was a Killer Kross fan before he came, so that's no surprise there. But I personally, I'm going to go ahead and put that graphic up since you had that as yours. I personally like Karrion Kross. I think this match didn't suit him.
No, for sure. He definitely stuck out like a sore thumb.
The storyline for this, like I said before, was supposed to be he could lose by not losing, right? Any one of those other people could win by pitting one of those other people. I would have loved to have seen Johnny Gargano win again. I mentioned that earlier. The problem is, if Karrion Kross loses the title to someone else without losing, it doesn't help Karrion Kross. It doesn't really hurt him. It just doesn't help anyone, right? If you're trying to build Karrion Kross up as a badass, they should have had him basically just destroy all four of these people. But you can't do that because then you've literally destroyed all four of your potential main eventers, right?
Right.
So you can't do that. So this one here, to be perfectly honest, I would have much preferred this to have been a match without Karrion Kross or a one-on-one match, right?
Yeah, in fact, I think that would have definitely been better.
With as short as this pay-per-view was, right, I would have preferred this way. A fatal four-way for the number one contenders, right? With those four people. Adam Cole, baby, Johnny Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly, and Pete Dunne. And then the winner, have that earlier in the night. The winner comes back later in the night to face Karrion Kross. Because then you can have Karrion Kross still be dominant at the end and win.
And the other guy tired, so you can use that as an excuse too.
So that's part of the storyline or whatever. That's what I would have done, or something similar to that. But this match didn't really suit him because he had to do that whole out of the match for so long thing, just to save the other people. And so it was kind of a misstep on NXT's part, in my opinion, there.
Yeah.
But
what do you got?
My overhype of the night. I'm gonna get so much fucking heat for this. My overhype of the night is Bronson Reed. Just him.
So it's okay, just him.
Just fucking Bronson Reed. Can't fucking stand the guy.
I kind of know what you mean, but I mean,
so hyped up. Oh, the Samoan guy from Australia and all this. And like here, I'm not trying to take away from him. He's better than I could ever be at wrestling and everything. But There's literally nothing about him that draws me to him. He's not phenomenal in the ring. You know, he's not the second coming of Vader or the second coming of Bam Bam Bigelow, right?
Right.
He's just a guy, right? And I love MSK, and Legado del Fantasma is a great heel group. And to me, Bronson Reed brought down this whole match.
Oh, I thought it was still a pretty good match. I mean, the fact at least that Bronson can go, like,
during this match,
there was a lot of crazy stuff happening, though.
There was a whole lot of crazy stuff, and that's why it is not on my list for worst match of the night. We already talked about worst match. Mm-hmm. This match, to me, was carried by MSK and Legado del Fantasma, and Bronson Reed was just there to do a couple moves, and then that's it. And you know,
the top rope splash.
Yeah, he did the top rope splash, which, like, oh, every big guy does a top rope splash.
To be fair, I kind of like his top rope splash. It's kind of like perfect splashes onto him. I don't know, I liked it, but I do see what you're saying. Though,
and then he had that middle rope suicide dive through that just looked like meh. I mean, like, this match was carried, especially, frankly, MSK versus Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. Those parts of this match were phenomenal.
Oh.
Right. Anytime Santos Escobar was in the ring, phenomenal. Anytime Bronson Reed was in the ring, boring.
Okay. I'd agree with that. I'd understand your point there for sure.
But I can already feel like the force. I can feel the hate flowing towards me on it. But
I mean, and I don't think he does anything for the North American Championship either. They still keep talking about how it's been 15 years, I think they said, or something. And, you know, it's come his time, almost pulling like a Kofi Kingston sort of thing. Like he deserves it. And I'm just like, I really don't care. I would rather you have the Kushida Open Challenge. I did like the whole winner takes all three belts. That was cool. That was kind of cool.
There were all sorts of cool things that would. But here, we'll take this exact match here. Replace Bronson Reed with Kushida.
Oh, that would have been hellfire. That probably would have been match of the night.
Match of the night, right there.
Mm-hmm.
Bronson Reed drugged down this match, and
I don't even know how he fit. I don't know how he actually fitted in the storyline, to be honest. Again, not a crazy NXT guy. Maybe I missed it, but
he fits in the storyline because Santos Escobar used to be Cruiserweight champion, lost that to Kushida, and is now moving up and going after the NXT North American Championship.
Okay.
And they didn't want to have it just be a singles match because they didn't want Bronson Reed to, by himself, ruin Santos Escobar's momentum. So they decided to do it this way so that Santos could lose without it hurting Santos. In the end, what's probably going to happen is we're going to have a solos match between the two of them at Great American Bash next month. So,
and Santos hopefully wins.
Here's hoping. God willing, and the water don't rise. Anyways, fucking Bronson Reed. I just can't get behind him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, not a fan of his tights either. Maybe if he changed up his look, maybe it would have been a lot better. I don't know, but it's kind of boring in the ring for sure. I'm glad he can move. He's got a personality too. Yeah.
The thing is, here's the thing. We know that there's a low ceiling to Bronson Reed in WWE. He gets called up to the main roster. He's gonna be within 3 months put into a comedy angle, probably involving him being involved with someone ridiculously hot. Yes, I'm looking at you, Mandy Rose and Otis. And then eventually he's gonna fall down and just be kind of a
He's going to be
footnote
part
on
of like the new
SmackDown.
AOP or something with someone
Yeah.
else. Because why not?
And then they're gonna have him shave his beard and come out looking like fucking cartoon character. I'm sorry. I'm going off on a tangent because I'm still pissed at what they did to my boy Otis on SmackDown this week.
Well, look, they weren't taking him seriously. He looks like one of the guys from Unpractical Jokers now, but no beard and whatever. But I mean, he kind of looks meaner. You know, he looks
He
less
might look
goofy.
meaner, and that's fine. Here's the deal: is he didn't need any of these changes. You know what they needed to do? They needed to put him and Tucker as heavy machinery on a rampant run with the tag titles, but no, can't keep a tag team together. Got to break them up so you can fire one of them and bury the other one.
Well, I mean, this is passe. We have to talk present time. It's done. We can't be sobbing from stuff that happened in the past. That's what they did. In terms of right now, compared to what he was doing, you know, him and Chad Gable weren't doing anything. So at least shave off his beard. Now he's going to go after, who was it? Was it Big E? No, it was it Big E? Apollo? I don't know who it was. It was somebody that he attacked. And, it was one of the Street Profits, I think. So, I don't know. Maybe it's still a tag team. Then I don't know. But I don't know. Yeah, let's see what he does without the beard. Maybe that will give him a new motivation. Maybe we'll start liking him more.
Boy. They ruined him.
He was already ruined.
They ruined him months ago, and they're still ruining him. Worst performance of the night.
Damn. Worst performance of the night. You're not going to like me for this. It's like a toss-up between Karrion Kross and LA Knight. You know what, though? I don't know. I wasn't all that great on the women's title matchup. No, I got to give it to Karrion. I'm sorry. I thought Karrion Kross, if you're talking about anyone who kind of ruined and slowed down that match, it would have been Karrion Kross. He obviously doesn't fit well with any of those guys, and he's the champion or whatever, but it was just pointless for him to be there. And match was still great, but it was no thanks to Karrion Kross. If anything, he ruined the ending. And but yeah, worst performance of the night has to go to Karrion Kross for not doing all that much except a few submissions and a few chokes and his cross lock, I think is what it's called, or something. Cross jacket or whatever. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to give it to Karrion. I think everyone else on the card did decently enough, but Karrion to me just lacklustered. Yeah, I'll go with Karrion Kross on that one.
Okay. Well, I am going to flip the coin on you and go with LA Knight.
There we go.
Just like I said before, this was a match that should have been won by Cameron Grimes. It fit Cameron Grimes' character so much better. It fit his wrestling skills so much better. LA Knight is what happens when you tell a toddler that they can be anything in the world that they want to be, and they just want to be The Rock, right? And because the problem is he doesn't have half the skill that The Rock had, right? The Rock was actually good in the ring as well as charismatic on the mic. And LA Knight
Grimes is more of The Rock technically than LA Knight, you know?
Yep.
Because Grime has everything, man. Like maybe I think maybe his look too might be the reason why they're not. But the guy's entertaining. The look works for him. He's phenomenal in the ring, man. Like it's his look that makes me like, oh man, this. I'm like, no, but Cameron Grimes is freaking awesome in the ring. I'm like, yeah, I'm excited for this match. You know, so I don't know. I just don't. This has to be a redemption thing. This can't be over for Cameron Grimes. He fits the $1 million persona so well. If you're gonna make Ted to be the next Ted DiBiase, Cameron Grimes is your boy. You know, like I don't remember how great Tobiasi was in the ring, but this is new school. And Cameron Grimes would work that perfectly. Put him in more of a suit. He has that million. He would have been perfect. This is not a redemption thing. I am going all the way to Florida and I am slapping whoever is writing the Cameron Grimes storyline right in the face and get put in jail for 3 days. Because that's how much I believe in Cameron Grimes being the next Ted DiBiase / Rock.
Yeah. So I'm going to throw out a match that we could have had at one point and now can't, and maybe we can in the future, but can you imagine, just imagine, how absolutely bonkers Cameron Grimes in his current character versus Eco Warrior Daniel Bryan would have been?
Oh, phenomenal.
Yeah.
That would have been definitely, that's main event worthy. Like that would have been off the even, you know, him and Cameron and Drew Gulak too. You know what I mean? That problem is Gulak. But we could still technically get that. So, you know, that would be the next best thing, I guess, or Cameron and AJ. You know what I mean? I just don't want to see Cameron go to the main roster. Vince is going to ruin him.
That's why it would have to be moving someone down to NXT. And frankly, I think Drew Gulak moving down to NXT would probably be best for Drew Gulak. Yeah.
Or, you know, Cameron and Balor.
Cameron and Balor. They had a short feud when Balor first got down to NXT, and but it was before Cameron Grimes really got his feet
sparked
him.
Okay, yeah. What is Balor doing? He's injured or something again, or what?
They're selling him after losing to Karrion Kross. They're selling. I don't know if they're saying injury or just he's off recovering, but he hasn't been seen since then. So.
Kross should just get picked up to the main roster, so you know he could be buried. I'm really not a fan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm feeling that here. I'm not agreeing with you. I think you just haven't seen a good Karrion Kross match yet.
Well, no, I've seen a good Karrion Kross with him and Adam Cole. I think that was, I believe that was him and Adam Cole. I thought that match was phenomenal. Now I'm thinking that's kind of due to Adam Cole because we all know how Adam Cole could lead to. But you're probably right. Maybe there's a few, but he also didn't have this gimmick. I felt. Right? Because he was already in NXT before they did the whole special effects. No?
Nope. That was his debut.
Okay. I don't know.
He was an Impact wrestler before that. He was
right. Okay.
Until a few months before that. So, no. Back to my point. LA Knight. He can just fucking go suck it for all I care. I hope.
Yep. LA Knight, Eli Drake.
Belt is actually made of lead, and he gets really sick off it. Now I feel bad about saying that.
That's horrible. Stop it. That's mean.
Yeah. Now I feel really bad.
Yeah.
Bad
one job.
Okay. So we will go ahead and move on to worst move of the night. This one's really tough because there weren't a lot of bad moves. Like we've already talked about botching and neither of us had a lot of options for that. For me, probably Bronson Reed's suicide dive to the outside. Because for a guy as big as Bronson Reed is, the thing looked like he was moving as slow as molasses, and he goes diving outside, and you're just like, just step out of the way, move.
Okay, that's fair. Me. I think I'm gonna have to go with the. It's not even because it was bad necessarily, but just because, man, you could have broke his back. Probably should have thought that through a little bit more. But Grimes's fall on the ladder from outside of the ring. I know we've seen this before, perhaps with Jeff Hardy. I thought the guy got hurt. And I don't know, maybe it's the black ladders that make it seem like these ladders are just whatever. It's still a freaking ladder. You're going to get thrown onto. It's going to hurt you. I don't know, man, but he fell flat on his back, I feel, onto that ladder, and he was high up on that golden ladder, like, oh, for me, that was kind of cringy. Great spot, I guess, but cringy as fuck. So I think I would go for that for the worst move just because I don't want to lose Cameron Grimes. And that looked really bad. But hopefully, I guess he's okay. He had another 5-6 minutes of the match, no? So
it was towards the end, but he's still and he's
still moving.
I'm
yeah, okay.
That, so.
All right.
So on that note, we will move on to the last of the worst. We finally made it through the bad. This is the last one. The worst moment. Not move, just moment. Single moment. It doesn't have to be directly in a match. It can be anything. I'll go ahead and go first, though. Worst moment of the night came to me at the end of Martinez versus Lee. It's when fucking Martinez had her face off with the girl from the ring. I just don't buy it. Like,
it was better than Lily. It was better than Lily and Alexa, I feel, though.
Better than Lily, not better than Alexa. The Alexa storyline, if it was just Alexa having this power and all that stuff, I would have less problem with it. It's the fucking doll that ruins it, right? For this, she I texted you and I was like, "Oh, look, the girl from the ring, gotta keep making money, I guess." It just to me looks so stupid. Like, climb back into that TV and leave us the fuck alone.
That's fair.
That's my worst moment of the night.
I get they're trying to be nostalgia with In Your House and having Doc there and Todd from back in the day doing those. I freaking hated Todd back then. I still hate him now. So all his little mini little vignettes of him playing freaking that karate thing with Loomis. It was just pointless time. I don't know. I really despised him back then, and I just didn't like him now. He was as annoying as Cole for me was back then. Well, not back then because Cole replaced him technically, I think, right? So, yeah, I don't know. That was a bit. I get the nostalgia part, but I'm just done with you always using the door. You bringing back these older people, I don't know. Maybe I'm a sourpuss in that regard, but Todd to me, it was stupid. It was so fake too. I still use a Walkman and da da da. Bro, why would you still use a walk? I get it. You're trying to play vintage. He hasn't moved on since then. And telling the guy that he hasn't done anything since 96, which I guess maybe might be valid, but I don't know. Maybe he's done radio in some place just because he's not in wrestling. I don't know. I
think they're trying to play it off like he's literally been just sitting around in the warehouse since 96. But that's beside the point. I don't disagree with you. I just wish I had thought to make a Todd Pettengill graphic to put up, but I didn't.
And then Doc, I mean, look, Michael Hayes, cool story, but you look really fucking weird doing it now. Again, I kind of liked it. It was kind of, oh, that's cool, kind of, but it was still kind of I don't know. This didn't age well, I'm being a sourpuss, I guess. Apologies, but yeah. That's what I'm going with. You should have definitely had a Todd graphic. Wasted your time on doing a Todd.
I should have, because they had him back last year too, and I should have just thought of it and made sure to get a Todd graphic. I just didn't think of it, and
no one thinks of Todd. Yeah, no one thinks of Todd. Poor Todd.
Fuck you, Todd Pettengill.
Yep.
So now we get to move on to best moment. best moment of the night. What do you got?
Best moment of the night. Damn. Okay. Best moment of the night would probably have to be for me main event when it was all four guys in the ring, saw freaking Karrion Kross, and they just had this masterful, crazy spot fest with the reverse hurricanrana. You kicked him, and then they did the reverse hurricanrana, and then the other guy kicked him, and he did a backwards like backdrop kind of thing. Just such phenomenal talent in that ring. The absolute spots in that match. Just those four guys are honestly just phenomenal, and you can't take anything away from them ever. And I don't know why they just don't have all the championships because and honestly I would have loved any of them, even if Adam Cole won. Like, the dude's so freaking talented, you really can't hate on it because it's Adam Cole, baby. You know, Johnny Gargano, amazing still, especially with his HB gear on, paying homage to HBK. That's awesome. Kyle O'Reilly is cool, is great. I'm just not crazy on his look, but Kyle O'Reilly is phenomenal in the ring as well. I'm not a crazy Pete Dunne guy with his breaking of hands and whatever. His outfit looks stupid, and he has a womany figure. Like, I find he has a figure of a woman and whatever. You know, poor guy. That's how he was born. I like him better without his ring gear. Like, when he's just like in jeans and whatever, he looks more like legit. You know, with that one piece, he looks silly. But he's a good wrestler. I'm not a huge fan of his hand breaking. So I think that whole spot fest between those four gentlemen were spot on. Pun intended. Pun intended. And that's what I'm going with.
Well, I get to leave the graphic up there because for me, best moment of the night is in that same match. I absolutely adored the finish.
Submission on submission?
Submission on submission. Kyle O'Reilly has Adam Cole locked into the ankle lock, knee lock, I think technically they call it. I actually, to start with it, I liked how Adam Cole thought he could kick his way out of it, and Kyle O'Reilly just caught his other leg and locked it in there as well.
That was cool, yeah.
And so then you've got, is Adam Cole going to tap to Kyle O'Reilly, which is the storyline that we needed to see. We needed to finally see Adam Cole acknowledge that Kyle O'Reilly was worthy.
Right.
And then Karrion Kross coming in and locking on the cross jacket on Kyle O'Reilly. And then this whole storyline, you know, is Adam Cole going to tap before Kyle O'Reilly goes out? Or is Kyle O'Reilly going to go out? You know, who's going to be the winner here? I like that. Now, do I wish they would have continued it a little longer? Yes. Kyle O'Reilly started to fade a little too fast for me. But that's me being nitpicky on this. I just loved the storytelling of this whole thing. Do I wish the match would have featured... do I wish the night would have featured a big moment, like a surprise return from a big star? And yes, I know we had Shotzi show up again. Not big enough. I'm talking like Finn Balor making a return again, or
Samoa Joe. There was talks about Samoa Joe.
Daniel Bryan suddenly showing up in NXT and kicking ass. Something big. And there really wasn't anything, you know. Like I said, Shotzi showed back up again, but that's about it. So, for me, best moment of the night was that double submission at the end there.
Nope. That's a good move. I guess dislike Karrion. So I was like, but it was cool.
So, on that note, we then get to move to breakout star of the night. Who was the one person that you watched this and you said, yeah, I'm gonna keep watching them.
You go.
And it's tough because there were a lot of like really, really good performances by people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was super impressed with Raquel Gonzalez, right? I think she looks the part of everything, but it's hard for me to call the current women's champion a breakout star. You know what I mean?
Kind of
She's at the
difficult.
top of the game that she can there. So for me, I think Cameron Grimes showing what he could do in his match probably is the closest thing to a breakout star of the night. Cameron Grimes was super impressive, doing what he do, taking that huge bump. He was funny with the I want the gold one. And not gonna climb one of them cheap ass black ones. This is the $1 million belt. I need the
Right.
gold one. So for me, that's the one that I think Cameron Grimes breakout star
Yeah.
of the night.
Leave that art up because I think I might have to agree with you there. I was trying to think of something else. But all the people I'm thinking of are, already stars necessarily. Cameron, I think, has been a star for quite some time. Um, but he just isn't there yet for some reason. They're not giving him enough of a push. Um, Although that bump I found was dangerous, kudos to him for taking it. I remember him taking a similar bump when it was like a 6-man ladder match that he was in. So I guess he's fond of taking these bumps. Yeah, just phenomenal talent. And it's so amazing because every time I look at him, I think he's boring. I think it's going to be boring match. But then I realize all the other matches I saw beforehand, and he just like I know he's not boring now, but when I originally had saw him and then I was pleasantly surprised when I saw how he was in the ring, I was just blown away. And I'm like, damn, this is why they have don't judge a book by its cover, because you really can't. And Cameron Grimes is the greatest cover of them all. And yeah, no, I would agree with you. Cameron Grimes definitely breakout star of the night. And take that, LA Knight. It's not you because you're like
I don't
the
care.
non.
I don't care if you got that gold belt with all the diamonds hand placed by the greatest craftsman in America 30 years ago.
Yeah. That's it. Like 30 years ago. Okay. I'm sure there's people better than him now. But I like that little video package, though. It was still cool to kind of see.
Yeah. So yeah, Cameron Grimes. That's
Why do they
universal.
have a young picture of Ted DiBiase? That's weird.
Because nobody wants to look at old Ted DiBiase right now.
Well, that's rude.
So, we will move on. Now we're on the bests here. So if you're watching us on the live stream or even viewing it later, let us know in the comments who you think, because we still have best performance of the night, oh my god moment of the night, best move, match of the night, under hype of the night, and like I said before, the next comment is best performance of the night. Whose overall was the best performance in the night? And it can be wrestler, it can be manager, it can be backstage talent. Who knows? But what was your best performance of the night? I'm going to say, mine is probably going to surprise people.
Oh, okay. Best performance of the night. I think I'm gonna give it to Gargano. I don't know. Like he really stood out for me. Like they all were really good, but I guess because I know what I expect from Adam Cole, and I generally know what I expect from Gargano. But I think that HBK gear just gave him a little extra flair, and yeah, I was immediately interested in everything he was doing because he just added a little extra to it, I felt. So I think I'm going to have to go with Gargano as best performance of the night.
Very cool. Okay. Well, I am going to surprise you by not having a graphic for mine. And no, it's not Todd Pettengill. I'm not giving the best
Better not.
performance
I
to him.
swear to God,
Um,
I'll leave right now.
Best performance of the night to me, William Regal.
Okay.
If only for right at the end, that backstage segment with him as he's leaving, them asking him what he thought of the night and all of that stuff, and he turns to the camera with tears in his eyes, saying, "This night has been chaos. The one thing that's clear for me is there needs to be some change." So obviously they're setting up potentially a new general manager. But just that performance there was so well done, so subtle, so everything. So William Regal with the tears gets my nomination for best performance of the night.
Yeah, it does sound like he's leaving, right? Because it felt like he was saying like he's quitting. He can't deal with it anymore, kind of ordeal. So,
Yeah.
and I guess that was rumored, right? There was something that he was supposed to be leaving.
I don't specifically remember that. I mean, he's been doing, he mentioned it, general manager there since the beginning, and he's been around for a long time. He deserves to maybe be able to retire from regular on screen role. It also makes sense for a brand standpoint to shake things up with a new general manager at some point.
Right.
To throw out, I have no insider knowledge whatsoever as to what it could be or whatever, but just imagine if it was Samoa Joe brought in to be the new general manager for NXT.
I don't know, man. I like to see him wrestle. I don't want to see him be at a GM position.
We've seen GMs wrestle before.
William Regal
wrestled a few times.
That's true.
But the thing is, former NXT champion, now general manager, is a storyline that makes sense. So
yeah,
again, I don't have any insider knowledge officially. As far as we know, Smojo's still not with the company.
But Trips listens to us, so you never know.
Yeah, apparently he does. Please tell us that he did not listen to our last fantasy booking one, because we did way too many fucking challenges on that one that I don't want to
see. Yeah, me and you both, brother.
But so that is my best performance tonight, William Regal.
It's a good call.
So we're going to move on to underhype of the night. What match or performance or person went into this not hyped up nearly as much as they should have. And so therefore was kind of surprising and impressive. And for me, I kind of mentioned it before, but it's the women's championship match was the underhype of the night. And I know you're like, it was the women's championship match. But until like a week ago, we really didn't see this match. They didn't talk about it, all of this stuff.
I didn't even realize I didn't even realize she was facing Ember Moon. I'm like, huh? When did that happen? I'm like, I thought it was her friend that was supposed to. I'm like, oh, okay. I just, again, don't watch it that much. But yeah, this was fun. I just feel bad for Ember Moon, though, man. Like, I don't know what they're doing with her. And the problem is she's kind of been sidewashed everywhere. She was in the main roster, went back down, had the tag team championships, lost those. I don't know what there is for her to do anymore in this company, to be honest with you. She's been champion only in NXT. I don't think she was ever Raw champion or anything. No, so she's been champion, NXT champion already. Like, it worked with Finn Balor, I guess. But I don't know. I don't see it working with Ember. Like, they're really not putting much emphasis on her to be that main star, and clearly she didn't win. So,
I mean, you say that, but she was in the second to last match of the night on a pay-per-view going after the world championship, women's championship, I think they're using her fairly well and they're putting her up there.
But you just mentioned they only really had a storyline with her a week.
That's part of the problem. But that's not that just means that they failed on hyping the match. They still obviously have faith in her and obviously are putting her out there. And here's the deal. She was out there to do something, and that she did very, very well. And that's put over Raquel Gonzalez. Because remember, Raquel Gonzalez a year ago was kind of a nobody in NXT. And now she's women's champion, right? And she needs to have some big victories to build her up. And that's what Ember Moon was brought in to do. Ember Moon, like you said, just a few months ago was tag team champion. And Shotzi and her will be tag team champion again. I have no doubt on that. And I have no doubt she'll probably be women's champion again. So I don't feel bad for her. And she was in the co-main event and looked like a superstar in it, and helped Raquel Gonzalez look like a superstar.
That she did for sure.
So I mean, I'm all for it. So that's my underhype of the night. That match was one of my favorite matches of the night. It's hard to say. There were only 5 matches, so it was definitely in my top 5. But it might have been my second favorite match of the night overall.
Wow. Okay.
Second or third, but it's tough. The opening match, the trios match, even though Bronson Reed brought it down, was still a phenomenal match. So that's kind of the one that it's up against there. So, but underhype of the night, Ember Moon versus Raquel Gonzalez, right? So we will go ahead and move on to the oh my god moment of the night. The moment that made you go, and I think we both can probably agree, it was Cameron Grimes getting bombed onto that ladder.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
That was the only moment of the night that you sent me a text message that said, "Oh my god." And that's the title of this. That's the title of this category, is the oh my god moment. So
yeah, that was wild. Oh man, thank God he's okay, because that's what I would go with too. Though, to be honest with you, I said those exact words, so like, I can't really put anything else. I legit used those words, and kudos for Cameron for putting it all out on the line, because boy, you did it. You entertained the shit out of me, and you used it with your body, and I thank you, and I hope the back appreciates all the work that you do and gives you a freaking title shot soon, and you deserve it, because damn, Cameron Grimes, baby.
Cameron Grimes, woo! Yeah, no doubt in my mind that was the oh my god moment of the night. Next one up is best move of the night. We only have 2 more categories, this one and match of the night. Best single move of the night.
No, I was thinking of AEW. Hold on, let me backtrack.
Fine. I'll go ahead and take it first here, because mine's probably gonna get a little bit of flack, maybe even from you. Best move of the night for me was the double super kick that Gargano and Cole did to, I think it was Pete Dunne. Simple thing, but it was a timing related thing. And for that double super kick to be so perfectly timed between those two people, as I think it was Pete Dunne was coming off of the ropes. It was so perfectly timed, and that will always get me. Adam Cole, Bebe, and Johnny Gargano are 2 of the best super kicks in the game, and for them to have lined up so perfectly for that's why it gets my nomination. I know some people will disagree with that, but for me, that was my best move.
Yeah, I mean, it's very simple, but I mean, a lot of super kicks were going on though, so I really can't remember that one per se. Best move. What's coming to my head is just that spot between all four men when it was the kick and then it did the was it, or am I mixing that up with no, it was the main event, right? With I think it was O'Reilly kicked him and then Gargano did the Hurricanrana, reverse Hurricanrana, and then O'Reilly kicked the other person and it maneuvered into like a backdrop. Like, that's one that's really ringing into my head at the moment because I just remember being like, wow, guys, like you just, and I think they were just doing a bunch of other things after that too. Like they got back up and they did like a bunch of other crazy things. I hope they do more Cole, Gargano, O'Reilly things. I mean, really, Cole can go with anyone and make anyone a star. Gargano can as well, but give me your Gargano Cole feud. I know we've seen that in the past, but I don't care. Give it to me again. It's been a while. I'm down. This is the way. Like, come on. Just as long as you don't use a door. I know you put cross through the door and that was awesome, but please leave any kind of door frames out of your thing because using in your house doors is very lame-o potatoes. You did it last year too. Or I think the door was locked or something. I'm good. I'm good with not you using a door anymore. But definitely Gargano and Cole and O'Reilly, just phenomenal.
I'm just pointing out that door legitimately had a Ring doorbell on the side of it. A modern Ring.
I was expecting doorbell. Bailey. Oh, really?
Yep. Ring doorbell, the video doorbell on the side. And that just the dedication for them to put a video doorbell on the side of a fake door on a stage for no reason cracked me up. So.
Which is still kind of messed up because they were playing it old school, so it shouldn't have been a video doorbell.
Yeah, made no sense.
Made no sense. So I'm like, I didn't honestly notice that, so kudos to you on that. But if you were going old school, why wouldn't you just put like a regular doorbell? No, I don't know. Well, either way, maybe it came that way, and they're just like, whatever, screw it. No one's going to pay attention. But boy, they don't know Officer Smarks, do they?
Yeah,
they don't know.
I got Eagle Eyes brought to me by $200 glasses.
Hey, bam.
And then the award that everyone's waiting for, the one that brought you guys here, match of the night. What was the best match of all 5 of these?
I think I'm going to have to go with the ladder match, to be honest with you. I really enjoyed the spot fest that, like, and the thing is, it's all Cameron, really. But I mean, I guess, LA Knight took the bumps nicely, if you will. I really had fun with this match. It had a little bit of comedy into it. Justin, you were talking about the main event all this time and so on and so forth, but it's so easy to give that. So I don't want to go that route. And I hate Cross, and Cross winning ruined it for me. So a match that I will go see over and over again. I guess this kind of ruined it for me too, because Grimes didn't win. So that was annoying, but he also took a major fall, and that was pretty spot on. So yeah, I'm going to have to go with Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight, the $1 million ladder match.
Interesting. So, I disagree.
Yep, fine. I figured. Yep.
Ladder match. No. Fatal 5 match. Yes. Fatal 5-way was the match of the night. Even with the Karrion Kross being missing for a bit of it, the rest of this match was just so well done.
I mean, it was. I mean, look, in reality, I wanted to be different from you because I know you were going that route. And another match to me that kind of went in through my head was the ladder match. So I don't mean to take anything away from it. It was a phenomenal match. Just, it's so typical too. I'm sure Dave Meltzer is going to give us 7 stars. And so I want it to be different. Damn it! But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, so far on Cage Match, it is the highest rated of the 5 matches. Cage Match has it 8.51 out of 10, based on 44 votes. So not a huge sample size, but for
What's
me
the
that was
second?
second on Cage Match is the North American title match, slash tag team title match. The first one,
MSK.
six-way.
Okay,
MSK. Yep.
that was a fun match too.
7.16 based on 30 votes.
Mm.
Worst match of the night is, unsurprisingly, the one we chose as worst match of the night. According to Cage
Right.
Match, Xia Li versus Mercedes Martinez was 5.57 out of 10.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the match, so I mean I'll have to go. Make sure I don't need to go to the bathroom for 7 minutes, and I'll be
I
able to
think you
watch
can
them.
hold it for 7 whole minutes.
I got this.
Yeah, you got this. But yeah, no. To me, this 5-way match was just, I wouldn't give it 7 stars, and frankly, coming just a few weeks after Double or Nothing, right? You can go back and listen to our Double or Nothing review, and we gave that fucking phenomenal reviews. And the downside is, as a whole, this pay-per-view didn't live up to Double or Nothing. Now, keep in mind, however, Double or Nothing is a major pay-per-view for AEW, whereas NXT TakeOver in Your House is just one of their pay-per-views. It's not one of their big 4, so it's hard.
Well,
to
it's kind of one of their
compare.
big 4, no? Isn't their thing in your house, Backlash, and then like Brooklyn or something?
Typically,
What is
the one
their
they
main
have,
4?
well, NXT kind of moves things around, but their big ones usually are the ones that correspond to the big 4 for
Oh,
WWE.
okay.
So
Okay,
they're one
fair.
right before WrestleMania. They're one right before
SummerSlam.
SummerSlam. They're one right before Survivor Series, which is usually War Games.
Right. And then Royal Rumble.
And then the Royal Rumble one. Yeah, those are usually their big ones.
Okay, that's fair.
And so it's hard to really directly compare it in your house to. And AEW just doesn't have a second tier pay per view at the moment. They've just got the 4
Because
big
they only
pay-per-views.
well, that's it. They only do it like every 3 months, 2-3 months.
Yeah.
So
They, you go back to their first year, they had Fight for the Fallen and Fighter Fest as second tier pay per views, but they've moved those to just special event on
TV.
on Dynamite, especially Dynamite events. And so, but if you compared this one to, like, in a couple weeks, we're getting Fight for the Fallen, or Fighter Fest Night 1, Fighter Fest Night 2.
Oh, are we? When is that happening?
July something. We have to look it up. They just announced them this week, so.
Oh, okay. I thought I was just out of the loop, and you said a couple of weeks. I'm like, damn. Okay.
Couple weeks is not that far away. First night of Fighter Fest is July 14th, so 1 month.
Not a
from
couple of weeks.
Today. That's 4 weeks. Couple is more than 2. Thank you.
Couple is 2. Couple is 2. Thank you very much.
Nope. Couple more than 2.
Couple.
I'm here in Nebraska. Couple is more than 2. Anyways, Fighter Fest Night 1 is the 14th. Night 2 is then the week later on the 21st. And then, of course, the Fight for the Fallen is the week following it. But they're, again, just regular TV shows. Yeah, special event TV shows, but not full pay-per-views.
Right. So yeah, maybe it would be compared to one of those. It was a decent pay-per-view just for what it was. That's it. It's, again, you mentioned, it's not one of their 4 kind of thing. So I don't know, it was good. Was it better than Against All Odds for Impact, if you want to put it that way? Yeah, I think it was. Against All Odds was fun too for Impact. That Kenny Omega match with Moose was off the chain. Maybe just I still think maybe NXT's was a tad bit better if we want to compare it to wrestling that happened this week.
Yeah, if you want to compare, and here's the, I mean, it's almost. You and I both like Impact Wrestling, even though we don't get to watch it as often as we want to.
Right.
We both like it, but let's be honest, it is a little unfair to compare NXT to Impact Wrestling. NXT has a bigger roster. NXT has a bigger budget.
I'll tell you why I could compare. Because Impact likes to always say, hey, we had this wrestler first. We had this wrestler first. Look at how they're so phenomenal here. This match is happening. Hey, this match happened at this time. You know,
I will point out that tonight, Karrion Kross used to be an Impact. Cameron Grimes used to be an Impact. LA Knight used to be an Impact.
You showed me a photo, and it was of LA Knight facing Grimes in Impact. And I swear to you, I had thought, oh, Impact undid it again. You then mentioned to me, no, I just found the photo and showed it to you.
I just looked up whether they had wrestled before at Impact because wasn't sure how much overlap there was between them. But Dexter Lumis used to be an Impact. So, I mean, if you look at the NXT roster, they are fairly full of former Impact wrestlers. But that really goes to my point of this last week on last week's WBU about NXT doesn't look at Impact Wrestling and say, "Oh, they let this guy go. I don't want to look like I'm copying Impact Wrestling." They say, "Hey, this wrestler could make our product better. We'll take them." And give them a bigger audience and give them a bigger paycheck, and make them look bigger just in general. Mm-hmm. And so, Impact walks so NXT could fly in many ways. But yeah, it's you can't directly compare them. Yes, I agree with you. NXT was better than Against All Odds. As a whole, Against All Odds had good matches, and then it had questionable matches. And then as off the chain as the main event was, the fact that it took place at Daly's Plaza instead of at the same place as the other matches kind of gives away the pre-taped nature of the other matches. Mm-hmm. And probably the pre-taped nature of the Daly's Plaza one, you know. Also did break a little suspension of disbelief to have Sami Callihan, who wrestled earlier in the night at the Against All Odds pay-per-view in I think Nashville's where they record from, suddenly showed up at Daly's place at the end of that match. Like that's
snap.
That's like a 4-hour drive.
He planned a flight and everything. He was ready. He finished his match, went on the flight.
I think I'm even underestimating on that.
Nashville to Florida. Plane ride. So it's 2 hours and 15 minutes plane ride.
Yep.
That's to Miami, though.
Driving 5 hours and 56 minutes from Nashville to nope. Jacksonville, Florida. It took me on another one.
You're caring way too much about this. Oh, it's Jacksonville, right?
8
Key
hours
West.
and 33 minutes. So yeah, he had to hop in a time portal to make it there.
Well, yeah, but the plane ride, 3 hours, I believe I saw.
Yeah, 3 hours, which is still an hour and a half longer than he would have had.
Oh, so it's against all odds, though. What can I tell you?
Unless he
And
has one
he's
of those new supersonic jets that makes a sonic boom.
well, it doesn't matter now. He did all that traveling for nothing because now Don
He's been
Callis fired
fired.
him. Mm-hmm.
Which does bring to question how. So we're gonna go off on a weird little Impact tangent here, but Don Callis isn't officially on the Impact Wrestling roster anymore. How did Don Callis still have the authority to fire Sami Callihan?
But I think he is no,
Not showing
because
up on their website.
what's his face
It's why
even
they had
mentioned?
to
Oh,
have
you're picking sides and da 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 da.
it's why they had to have Tony Khan and Scott D'Amore together in to book the match and book the stipulations, and Don Callis didn't have a say in it on Impact this week when they announced all the stuff. So how he suddenly had the power when earlier this week he didn't, I don't know. In the end, though,
Maybe they're gonna play that into the storyline.
what do you think the odds are we see Sami Callihan show up at AEW this week?
Pretty good. Pretty good odds. I would think that would happen. He's already in Florida. I don't know if there's a whole COVID sitch where you have to do a wait time period if you're going to go to a different state or not. So that could be another thing too. And you'll definitely see him then in Don Dynamite, which might be fun. I'm curious to see how Sami Callihan will do there. That'd be interesting. And then hopefully Moxley randomly comes into play, and I want to see them fight each other somewhere down the line.
Would be a lot of fun, but anyways, that's not NXT, and that's why people are here to hear our talks on NXT. It does bring us to the close of this show, so we're gonna start to wrap things up. Make sure to check all the links in the doobly-doos for all of our stuff, including closing a book. I get it, a little on the nose there. Check the links in the doobly-doos right down there underneath here for all of the links to our Patreon, our merch store, all of our social medias, places to listen to the podcast, support us, all of that stuff. It's all going to be right there in the doobly-doos there. Make sure to follow us on the social medias. You can follow me at Raw and Order WBU. It says it right there on screen there. You can follow JLB
at JLB420, Real Talk Radio 8 on Twitter, but anchor.fm/RTR is where you can find all the streamables, the Spotify's, the Apples, the Stitchers, and all that fun little stuff. And yeah, that's it. No website stuff still, but stuff is getting updated, stuff is getting posted finally. So yeah, by all means, if you like wrestling, music, movies, TV shows. I do a lot of TV binge watching. We call it the binge because that's what people do now. It's not just for eating. It's for TV shows as well. So yeah, Real Talk Radio. Check me out. It's right down there. So by all means, back to you, good sir.
Just to let people know, I actually did make our merch store a little bit easier to get to. You can still go to the shop.spreadshirt.com/RawandOrderWBU. You can also find our merch store right on our Facebook page. So go to facebook.com/RawandOrderWBU and you can shop straight from there as well. But yeah, links are, again, all in the doobly-doos. We mentioned that already, but we will go ahead and close the book on the Wrestling Booking Unit, this review of NXT In Your House 2021. Pretty good show all in all. Had a few little foibles, but I enjoyed it. So thanks for listening. If you showed up to the live stream, thanks for coming along for the ride here. We will see you soon.
An unwanted guest is in my house. How dare he?